Good afternoon and welcome to the broadcast here on KM Activities, your home for the Komets. As we welcome you to Mayo Field in Rochester as the Kasson Komets taking on the Lourdes Eagles in the Hiawatha Valley. These two teams did meet up earlier in the season. It was the first game of the year for the Kasson Komets, and that was a win by the Lourdes Eagles 5-1. Lourdes Eagles come in with a record of 5-0. They are 4-0 in the Hiawatha Valley, and head coach is Dave Jensen. He's in his second year. He spent 10 years as the JV, and for head coach Matt Franke. And the Kasson Komets, they sit at 4-4, 4-3 in the Hiawatha Valley. And coming in here today after the loss to Winona over the weekend, 12-6. I'm Joel McCall. Thank you so much for tuning in here on KM Activities. I know they're going to run through the starting lineup, and then we're going to have the national anthem. Let's run down a little bit about these two teams. As the Lourdes Eagles, a perfect 5-0, and they stayed undefeated after a 13-3 win over Goodhue. The Eagles pounced with 3 runs in the first and the second. Senior Jordan Borgensen and junior Sam Stanley were locked in at the plate, 3 hits each in that game. Coach Jensen said the great start is attributed to the chemistry between the juniors and seniors, a lot of them in the lineup for this team in purple and gold. Lourdes Eagles' entire team was able to play last summer in the Under-17 Southern Mini League. That kind of took the place of the American Legion Leagues because they did not perform, but a couple of the other leagues did. And so the Eagles were able to participate in that. The Eagles have great pitching depth. 9 players have thrown off the rubber in 5 games and have limited their defensive errors. Coach Jensen said Stanley leads off. He scored 8 times and tops the on-base percentage for Lourdes. Nate Jurgensen leads with 6 RBIs and had a game winner versus Kenyon Wanamingo. These two teams did meet in the first game of the season, as I mentioned, and the Eagles struck first. They scored 3 runs in the second inning and 2 more in the fourth. It's been a theme this baseball season for the Lourdes, scoring early and often. The only game the Eagles struggled was actually against Kenyon Wanamingo. Lourdes was down 2-0 entering the fifth, but scored 2 in that frame, and then that walk-off from Jurgensen. The other stat that struck out with me, no pun intended, is the patience at the plate for Lourdes. 33 walks, that's very, very good. So they're averaging a little bit more than 6 walks per game, and the Komets will have to throw strikes, and they need to make defensive plays. I think one of the keys for Kasson tonight is to find that home plate, because Lourdes is going to show patience, and if you're just going to give them extra bases, they'll gladly take them. My question of the night for the Lourdes Eagles, since I hadn't seen them, was who will pitch then? I mean, they've had so many guys up on the rubber and up on the mound this season, so that was my question of the night. And Coach Jensen is going to go with Sperry, who has thrown 5 innings this season. He's 1-0. He allowed 3 hits, 8 Ks, and 1 walk. No earned runs in his outing thus far this season. And Stanley, as I said, leads the Lourdes Eagles in hits with 8. We'll go through a lot of different statistics on you. I'm not a big stats guy, but for baseball, I think they're pretty important. And for Kasson Mantorville, they just couldn't keep up with the Winona Windhawks over the weekend, falling 12-6. Komets bats were competitive, 8 hits, but those 3 errors, and they also allowed 9 hits. That was just too much to overcome. Mitch Nelson had 2 hits. Landon Wenzel, who's played well this season, he went 3 for 4 with 1 RBI and scoring once, while Corbin Horning went 2 for 4, 1 double, and an RBI. Kasson defensively has to become a little cleaner. The errors have piled up on the Komets, and it's allowed their opponents to take advantage of extra bases and runs. Corbin Horning is actually... He's playing some great ball at the plate and behind it. Coach Jensen, in his email to me, even mentioned Horning as the player he most remembers from the first battle at Kasson Horning will be a guy to keep an eye on, as you can't have pass balls either and let the Eagles run all over the base pass. That's one thing here at the Mayo Field is that backstop. It's a big backstop. So any pass ball, kids are just going to be taking bases left and right. Heck, if it takes a bad bounce off of the padding behind, you could even see a guy take 2. So that's really important. Can't be having wild pitches today for Kasson or Lourdes. And a guy who Coach Franke mentioned in his email early on in the season was Landon Wenzel. He's been a key relief pitcher in some tight spots, and once again, his bat was on display at Winona. We will see if he can come up with a key play or 2 tonight. The batting averages across the board pretty good for Kasson. They dip a little bit towards the bottom of the lineup, but overall, everybody doing work at the plate. Kellen Wilkie is one of those guys. He's already doubled his offensive production from his freshman year, while Mitch Nelson and Kyler Kuyat have quite a few extra base hits. I do think the Komets have to throw strikes. As I mentioned earlier, Lourdes lineup, very patient, and Kasson can't be giving free bases on walks. I also think a run or two in the first 2 to 3 innings can really help the Komets' confidence since they've played Lourdes already once this season. And going back in the history books, it does not favor this Kasson club. In HVL, this neutral site, but Lourdes beat Kasson 5-1 in the first game of the season. 2018-19, Lourdes won twice, 7-4 and 12-4. 2017-18, Lourdes won both those games as well, 2-0. They went 3-2 and 9-0 for scoring. And the last Kasson win, you have to go all the way back to April 18th of 2017, 7-5. That was in Rochester. The Eagles have won 6 since over Kasson. So got to keep that confidence up of your Kasson Komets. And my question of the night for KM was, how many extra base hits will KM have? They're getting some good hits, but now it's you got to find some gaps and get those doubles and triples and make sure that you're driving in runs throughout this contest. So they're going to run through the starting lineup, and we'll do the same thing for the Kasson Komets. This will be their batting order, as we're going to see the Komets up at the plate first in their white jerseys and blue lettering. I know here I don't have a camera person, so moving the camera back and forth is going to be a little difficult. I know in right field you're not going to see everything. Left you can see everything. I know we're not quite behind the home plate. This is just our setup for today. So I won't be able to move the camera much. If there is some action in right field, I'll certainly pull the camera when I can. And for the Kasson Komets, number 9 and pitcher today is Kyler Couillat, followed by number 6 and left fielder Mitch Nelson. Number 5, Landon Wenzel. He'll play the 5 position. That's third. Catcher and batting cleanup, number 17, Corbin Horning. Number 25, first baseman, Dalton Maxwell. Kellen Wilkes batting in the 6th spot. Number 2, he'll play shortstop. Number 14, Landon Andrus is the second baseman. He'll bat 7th. 8th and 9th spots go to number 1, right fielder Noah Schwartz. And then number 4, center fielder Brooks Buchanan. For the Lourdes Eagles and head coach Dave Jensen, starting lineup and batting order, number 6 and a center fielder, Samuel Stanley. Number 13 and second baseman, Gannon Fix. And number 11, shortstop, Nolan Jurgensen. Cleanup batter, number 5, catcher, Sam Schneider. On the hill and batting 5th, number 14, Joe Sperry. 6, 7, 8, 9, Braden Millener is the third baseman, number 4. Alex Rudquist, first baseman, number 7. Julio Roman is the left fielder, number 19. And then Seth Haight is the right fielder, number 16. He round out the lineup for the Lourdes Eagles. National anthem now. So Mayo Field, the site for Kasson and the Lourdes Eagles for today. There are 100 baseball games taking place across the state of Minnesota, and you're watching the most important one because we have it right here on KM Activities. The HVL, there is a couple of games going on in the Hiawatha Valley. Bethlehem Academy is at Kennewamingo. Cannon Falls is at Pine Island. They're playing 2. Dover Yoda is at Stewartville. Goodhue hosting Lake City. And Triton is at ZM. And for you that are listening that are Lourdes Eagle fans, in the section 1 of 2A, there's a lot of teams in the Hiawatha Valley, so I rolled through a bunch of them, but also Mabel Cannon is holding GMLOK. Kasson Maryville, they've got softball going on. Kenya Wanamingo, that's at 4:30 today. And then there's a bunch of stuff happening tomorrow. Girls golf has a Hiawatha match at Lake City tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Boys have a multi-meet at the Jewel coming up on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Softball's at Stewartville at 5 o'clock tomorrow. And then softball versus Cannon Falls will be our next broadcast. That's at on Thursday at 4:30. And that'll be right here on the KM Activities YouTube channel. And then home track meet also taking place on Thursday at 4:30. For baseball, they're on the road. After today, they go at Pine Island and at Cannon Falls on the 6th and 7th. They take on Pine Island on the 10th. And then the next broadcast that we have for baseball is against Byron, and that's on the 13th. Remember, they got the Wood Bat Tournament coming up, too, in Delano. That's on the 14th and 15th. We'll have another game or two. Hopefully the weather cooperates, and we'll be able to bring you those games a little bit later on in the year. All right, so on the mound, I know it's a little obstruction of view, too, with that pole. This is just where they allow us to set up for today, so bear with us. Sperry is on the mound, 1-0, 3 hits, 8 Ks, 1 walk in his 1 outing, no earned runs, and he did earn 1 of those 5 wins for the Lourdes Eagles. Kasson Maryville will go with Kuyat, Nelson, and Wenzel. Kyler Kuyat will come up first, batting .360 on the season, coming in here today. On the first pitch. That'll dictate the entire broadcast for today. Right-hander for Kuyat, right-hander on the mound for Sperry. We'll see if baseball runs as quickly as softball does the other day. Called strike right on the outside corner for Sperry. Behind the plate is Schneider, giving him the signals. A real solid catcher for Lourdes. Come right across once again, and a 0-2 count to Kuyat. Kuyat, as I said, a couple of extra base hits for him on the season. Does have 8 totals, second most, tied for second. And pulled back just in time for a 1-2 count. Kasson Maryville sitting at 4-4. Lost to Lourdes at the beginning of the season, 5-1, pardon me, and Lourdes at 5-0. Ripped up, but foul. All the way up and over our heads and onto the roof. For Kuyat to make it 1-2 and keep it that way. Mitch Nelson on deck, followed by Landon Wenzel. That'll be the 3 guaranteed up for the Kasson Maryville Komets here in the top of the first. Off speed comes in tight, 2-2. First base is Alex Rudquist. Then Gannon fixes at second base. Shortstops Nolan Jurgensen and Braden Milinar is over at third, and swinging and going down on a strikeout is Kuyat for the first out of the ball game. Outfielders are Julio Roman, Sam Stanley, and Seth Haight. That's from left to right for Lourdes Eagles, and they're purple jerseys and gold lettering. So Mitch Nelson steps up. He's the left fielder, number 6. Senior. There's quite a few seniors on this group for Kasson Mantorville. Off speed, too far inside. Curveball doesn't really break back in for Sperry. Strikeout to his name already, and the 1-1. Again, too tight. 2-0. Last time that these two teams played, it was right here on KM Activities as well. Terry Donovan providing play-by-play along with Brock Trinan that day. Thank you, Terry, for helping us out. Big swing, but Mitch Nelson getting nothing but air on the third pitch of his at-bat against Sperry. Nelson comes in with .227 batting average for Kasson Maryville. Coach Frankie wanted to send me everything and got to me a little late, as Nelson was a little late on his swing, 2-2. He told me he sent everything, but I was also already at the ballpark. And I had to fight a printer for like an hour and a half at home just to print off my stuff. 2-2. Too low. Nice job by Schneider to try and pull that up as quick as possible. Instead, it's a full count. Money pitch coming for Sperry. Right-hander Nelson. Chopper over towards third, gathered by Melinar, and he gets a nice throw, 5-3. Snagged in the air by Rudquist, and Kasson down to their final out of the first inning. 2 outs, and up at the plate comes Landon Wenzel. Another senior, batting at 208. Did have a big night the other night, as we talked about in the little warm-up that we provided against Winona. Went 3 for 4 early on his first swing against Sperry. Caught him with an off-speed, 0-1. Sperry hitting shots. By the way, the wind blowing, gusting out here at Mayo Field. Might see a dinger or two if somebody can really capitalize on hitting it straight. I mean, it is straight out to center. And it's been a gust pretty much all day, if you've had the chance to get out and enjoy it. 1-1. Wenzel right back to the shortstop. That's Jurgensen. Gathers, takes one hop and throws over to first, 6-3. And the Kasson Komets go out in order. 1-2-3. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on base. And the Kasson Komets will have to deal with the Lourdes Eagles in the top of their order when we come back in the first inning. 0-0 our score between the Kasson Komets and the Lourdes Eagles. Kasson Komets and the Lourdes Eagles. 0-0 the score as we enter the bottom of the first inning. Lourdes Eagles getting Kasson in order. 1-2-3. Kyler Kuyat will be on the mound for Kasson to pitch. He has thrown 7 2/3 innings so far. He has pitched in 3 games. He's had 109 pitches, looks like, and 3 earned runs, trying to get everything. He's allowed 6 hits. I don't have his ERA or his strikeout numbers, but coaches tried to send me everything he could. Actually, I do. 5 strikeouts and 2 walks thus far. And I thank Coach Frankie for sending me all those stats, as can read off my phone as we get ready for the bottom of the first inning. Happy you're along with us here at Mayo Field. Beautiful day for a ball game. That might be why they're playing 2 for Cannon Falls and Pine Island. Here we're just playing the 1. Kasson also got softball going on tonight, as they're taking the girls take on Kenny Wanamingo. Got to see the girls in action last week. Going to see them again on Thursday night. Boys will be on the road the next 2. So stepping to the plate first will be Samuel Stanley, or Sam Stanley, center fielder, number 6. Stanley, 8 hits, 1 double, 2 RBIs. He scored 8 times. He's also walked 7. Only struck out once, and a batting average at .571. To say that's good is an understatement. His on-base percentage is .714, which is tops in the lineup. Second in the lineup, only behind Borgeson. 1-0 as Kuyat was too high on his first. Second one, trying to come right at the waist. It's a little too high as well. We'll go through the diamond after the first batter and give you the defensive lineup for Kasson. Bottom of the first inning, 0-0, and it's 2-0 to Stanley. First batter for Lourdes. A called strike at the waist this time, finding it over the plate for Kuyat. Kyler's had an eventful season thus far on the mound. Kasson really rotated a lot of pitchers, too, trying to find that nice depth and not kill anybody's arms. And a called strike on the second, on the 4th pitch, making it 2-2. Back-to-back strikes after back-to-back balls 2-2 the count with Fix on deck. Jurgensen will round out at least the 3 that are guaranteed to come up for Lourdes in the bottom of the first. Off speed into the dirt and bouncing in the left-handed batter's box. Stanley, the right-hander, and that's a full count at 3-2. Money pitch coming for Kuyat. Behind the plate is Corbin Horning, trying not to allow anything past him throughout the game. Chopper towards short. Oh, and through the hands of Wilkie, and it'll be to the credit of Stanley. He'll get on first base. Got to be. That's a play that Wilkie's got to make.
Batting second baseman, Gannon.
Be calling that an error. E6 and Stanley on first. That's exactly what you didn't want to do if you're Kasson with Gannon Fix coming up. He's a second baseman, number 13. He's a junior in the lineup for Lourdes. Right-hander as well. Kuyat will have to be taken off the windup into the stretch. Missing inside to Fix on the first. 1-0 count for Fix. Just 2 hits on the season, according to Coach Jensen's stats that he sent. A called strike in the inside part of the plate for Fix. And Kuyat evens it back out at 1-1. Wilkie has that error over at short, but certainly another ground ball right to him. Kasson will try for the double play. Going straight out. The Horning going to be a little late on the throw, and Stanley, we got a stolen base. Aggressive base running by Lourdes. Pitch was also a little off, so 2-1. Stanley takes second, and forget about the double play for Kasson. Horning behind the plate. Dalton Maxwell, first baseman. Landon Andrus is second base. Landon Wenzel over at third. This coming towards the gap for Wilkie. Does end up getting a glove on it to stop it from getting into the... That would have been a long throw as well. What are you counting that? That's what I was going to give him, a hit. Not that it matters, because our stats don't mean anything, but I was going to call that a hit as well. Long play for Wilkie, just able to get something on it, and Jurgensen up. Nolan, the shortstop, number 11, and the first left-hander that Kuyat will see in the lineup. Off speed, breaks too far inside, and 1-0 the count. 2 runners on. Fix over at first, Stanley at second. So we ran through everybody with Wilkie at shortstop. Outfielders are Nelson, Buchanan, Schwartz from left to right. Horning just keeping it in front of him. Pitch goes in the dirt, 2-0 to Jurgensen. Jurgensen 5 hits, 2 doubles out of those, 6 RBIs. He scored 3 times. He's walked 7. He's also struck out only 1 time, and his batting average is at .417. Hard hit, finds it in between Maxwell and Andrus, rolling all the way to right field. Schwartz comes home with it. It's cut off by Kuyat. And scoring is Stanley. I think he was just making sure that he touched the plate. I think he actually ended up stepping on Horning's cleat. That's what ended up why he fell over. Jurgensen with a single and an RBI. Fix goes over to third. Yeah, I think it definitely off of Horning's cleat because I think it came undone as well. So he's had to tie it back up. And 1-0 is the score. Lourdes leading. Runners at the corners. Jurgensen on the RBI, and that brings up Sam Schneider. Catcher, number 5. And also a junior in the lineup for Lourdes. Kasson, this is not the start you wanted. So Schneider, 2 hits and 4 RBIs on the season.
Sam Schneider.
Couple of misplays on the defensive side for Kasson. We're going to shake those off and get an out. Any way you can get it at this point, because no outs and a 1-0 lead. 2 runners on. And a shot towards left center field, deep and off the wall for Lourdes. Schneider's going to take 2. Fix has already come home. Jurgensen's on his way. Throw is late, sliding home. He's safe. And a stand-up double for Schneider and 2 RBIs. He socked that to left center. And if it wasn't 360 where it hit, it probably would have been gone. 3 runs of cross for Lourdes in the bottom of the first inning.
For the Eagles at second base, number 10, Thomas York.
And York's going to be
Now
the
batting, pitcher,
pinch
Joe
runner
Sperry.
for Schneider, and Joe Sperry's coming up. He's the pitcher, number 14, right-hander. Kuyat, breaking pitch goes way outside. And a 1-0 count. Millener up on deck. Rudquist also to follow. Kasson needs a big play defensively. Called strike outside corner. As Horning positioned himself well. Can hear Coach Jensen giving out a call to York. York had to shuffle back a little. Too big of a lead. Ground ball through the gap between the short and third. York will just head to third. Sperry takes first on his hit. And Millener, Braden. He's the third baseman, number 4. Also a right-hander. And another courtesy runner, pinch runner over for the, that's Carter Wenzel.
Number 3, Carter Wenzel. Now batting, third baseman, Braden Millener.
So Millener up. Still runners at the corners for Lourdes, leading 3-0 on 4 hits thus far. Kuyat into the stretch. A called strike on the outside corner to Millener. Millener 3 hits, does have an RBI, 231 batting average. Kuyat shaking off a sign from Horning. Gets the one he likes. Steps and throws. Called strike once again on the outside corner. 0-2, and Kuyat has hit his spots twice. Once again, it shook him off twice that time before deciding. Chopper towards Wilkie. Took it on a very low hop. Ended up getting 1. Got the force out at second base. York comes in to score. Wenzel is out on a 6-4 fielder's choice. Throw over to first, not in time. I don't know if it would have been on time anyway. But he'll reach on a fielder's choice. Does get an RBI for that. And a 4-0 lead.
First baseman,
And up now is
Rudquist.
Alex Rudquist. First baseman, number 7, senior. Infield, he's pitched as well for Lourdes. Millener did get second base on that errant throw. First one too low. 1-0 count. Kasson just with the 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning and down 4-0. Called strike to Rudquist. 1-1 the count. Two teams getting to play a couple more times throughout the week. I know Lourdes has, I believe, one more game this week against Stewartville. They'll host. Actually, I take that back. They're going to go to Pine Island on the 5th and then host Stewartville on the 7th. So they get 2 more, and so does Kasson. They're on the road the 6th and the 7th at Pine Island and Cannon Falls. Last one missing from Kuyat puts it 2-1. checks the runner. Leonard doesn't have that much of a lead and called strike at the waist. Belt high, 2-2. Rudquist, if memory serves me, he's got 2 hits on the season as well. Him and Fix. Fix already had the hit. Came around to score earlier in this inning. 2-2 count. Off speed, lunging for it is Rudquist out towards right field. It is caught by Schwartz. No tag as his throw is over to third and pretty good. Pop out 9. Puts the 8th batter in the order for the Lourdes Eagles, Julio Roman, who's the left fielder, number 19. He's also a right-hander. So Lourdes started out with Sam Stanley getting on base with an error over at short with Wilkie, a stolen bag. Fix got a hit, and then Jurgensen brought in Stanley. Schneider stepped up, also got a hit. He cranked one with 2 RBIs in the gap of left center. Sperry had a hit. His pinch runner, Wenzel, was out at second on a force out, 6-4. Millener was a fielder's choice. And then Rudquist just had the pop out to right field. Roman, Kuyat had missed that. First pitch to Roman. Hits a spot on the second, and it's 1-1. Good crowd on hand, by the way, too. I think mainly everybody's social distancing as well, which is good to see. You got some fans, but I think it's mainly families all sitting together. Back down to second for Horning after the ball to Roman. That shot too high. Puts the count at 2-1. Just checking Millener out at second base. Not a bad idea for Horning, as long as you don't throw it into center field. That's too high. 3-1. Fastball just a little too high. So Haight is on deck. That would be the full lineup for Lourdes, but they are at 2 outs. 3-1 count. Kuyat giving it across. Pop up over on the right field side. Can Schwartz get there in time? He cannot. Falls in foul territory, making it 3-2 count. So I know we'll do a couple more baseball games this season. We got softball coming up. I'll cover as much as I can of the spring season until baby comes, and then I won't be seeing you for quite a while. Life will change a lot for me in the next couple weeks. So he's due June 1st, so we'll see how things go until then. Off the hands, Horning. Oh, could not make a sliding play. A new life for Roman on back-to-back fouls. And I'll cause some headaches for Mr. Trinan to figure out who is going to cover the rest of spring season if we don't get through sections before baby McCall is on his way. Full count. Kuyat kicks. Ripped out towards the left. High enough to camp underneath of it. Yes, for Nelson. Stayed in the air long enough. 4 hits. And also 4 runs. And 2 errors. 1 left on base. 2 errors. Those were critical errors for Kasson Mantorville. Started right away. And Kasson Mantorville needs their bats going. They'll ask for the heart of the order. 4, 5, and 6. Horning, Maxwell, Wilkie. 4-0 lead for Lourdes as we'll enter the top of the second in just a moment. Kasson Mantorville Komets trailing 4-0 to the Lourdes Eagles here at Mayo Field in Rochester. Two teams in the Hiawatha Valley. Kasson Mantorville at 4-4, or 4-3 in the conference. And Lourdes at 5-0. They've played 4 in the conference. And Corbin Horning up first for Kasson Mantorville. Too high from Sperry. We only threw 14 pitches in that first inning for Lourdes. It worked pretty quick. Found it for 1-1, evening it back up for Horning. Corbin hitting at .318 on the season. A called strike on the outside part from the right-hander Sperry. Also Horning, a right-hander. He leads the team with 10 hits. At the 4th spot in the order. Behind the plate on defense. Swinging, going down on a strikeout. Second strikeout for Sperry. Brings up Dalton Maxwell, the first baseman, number 25. He's hitting .263.
First baseman, Dalton Maxwell.
He's got 4 hits on the year, a couple of RBIs, as well as, I believe he's got 1 double, too, for Kasson Mantorville. Breaking pitch comes inside. Well, that's what Sperry did to Horning, but then also came right back with 3 straight strikes. Called strike. Straight down Broadway, 1-1. Happier along with us. 4-0 lead for the Lourdes Eagles. Here at a beautiful facility in Rochester on a gorgeous day. 2-1. I'm Joel McCall. Been covering Kasson Mantorville Komet stuff for the last 2 years. This is my first chance to see baseball, of course, because there was no season last year. Maxwell holds off. Too tight, 3-1. On deck will be Kellen Wilkie. Got to cover some exciting football this past season. Great basketball this year, too. Chopper down the first base line and foul. Puts it at a full count. Some fantastic hockey, of course, with Dodge County. Going all the way to state and making it to the championship for the boys before falling to Gentry Academy. And Maxwell rips one out. High fly ball towards right. Haight is over there and will make a play above his head. Good catch by Haight. 2 outs in the top of the 2nd inning, and Kellen Wilkie will try to extend it for Kasson Mantorville. He's the shortstop, number 2, junior. Batting .330 on the season. I know he's also mentioned as the 3rd baseman, so I think Wilkie's played in a couple different spots on the year. Wilkie, I think, has pitched as well. Sperry trying to put a solid first 2 innings together, and thus far he has. Hits a spot once again, starts that bat at an 0-1. It's exactly what you want. Make it 2 on the breaking pitch. I didn't even talk about the defense for Lourdes. Schneider behind the plate. And this high fly ball back over towards Haight. This time he doesn't have to run after it as much. Gets underneath of it. 2 pop outs and a 1-2-3 inning. Kasson Mantorville has gone down in order the first 2 innings. And they trail 4-0. That means no runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on base. And the Kasson Mantorville Komets will need a better showing on defense, as they need to really limit Lourdes in this 2nd inning after those 4 runs in the first. We'll take a quick break and come right back here at Mayo Field as Kasson Mantorville trailing 4-0 here on KM Activities. There we go. Kasson Comets and the Lourdes Eagles 4-0 as we enter the bottom of the second inning as the Lourdes Eagles lead. Now this has been the key for them for much of the season for the Lourdes Eagles, getting off to good starts, putting 4 in the bottom of the first. They did the same thing to Dover Yoda. They got 3 runs in the first and the second against a good Hugh, and that win 13-3 beat Dover Yoda 7-1. As we said, this is a high fly ball and trying to make a spectacular catch as Buchanan off the bat of Haight. He's going to try for a triple, and he's going to get there. Deep center field. And Haight with a triple at the bottom of the order. The 9th batter in the order, and he's pretty solid, though, 286. That's his 5th hit of the season. He's also walked a couple of times. On-base percentage at .412. And puts a guy on for Sam Samuel, who reached on an error in the first inning, stole a bag, came around to score off Jurgensen's bat. So continuing the fine start. First pitch and swinging for Haight. We'll see what Stanley decides to do. He was a full count before he put one in play to Wilkie at shortstop. Kuyat was too far inside in the first. A 1-0 count. Make it 2-0 as drops in the dirt. And I marked it wrong anyway on my book. Well, that's why these stats don't matter. So 2-0 count to Stanley. Runner on third. And tight 3-0. Kuyat got to settle down. Sometimes I think high school pitchers just overthink things a little bit too much. And instead of just playing catch with a catcher, they want to get a little fancy and cute. Not saying that that's what's happening with Kuyat as he ends up with his first walk of the ball game. I'm just saying sometimes you can get in your own head. I was there. I was a pitcher back in junior high. I never pitched in high school. They didn't need me then when we consolidated with a bigger school. Plus, I wasn't that good anyway. Again, and Fix up at the plate, had a hit. And the first came around to score as a run as one of those 4. Horning with the stop. Keeps it in front of him, and Stanley stays at first. So runners at the corner after Haight's triple. And Stanley, who walked over at first. Good chance for Fix, who already has a hit, to drive in at least one. Strike on the outside corner. Belt high for Kuyat. We had to deal with 8 of the 9 in order for Lourdes Eagles. Faking a throw back over. Or did he actually throw? He actually did throw it. I thought he faked that at first. Just checking to make sure Stanley doesn't get too large of a lead. He already has a stolen base earlier. Right-hander Fix. As it went between short and third. This is going to stay in play for Horning. Behind home plate. That'll leave Stanley at first and Haight over at third with the first out. Jurgensen, who on a 2-0 count, ripped one and got the 1 RBI. He brought Stanley home. He also scored when Schneider had his hit nearly go out to the, I don't know if that's an apartment complex out there in left center. Well, that's where he went for Schneider. But Jurgensen, this was another gap grounder that found the area in between Maxwell and Andrus. First pitch and a strike for Kuyat. Horning behind the plate. Maxwell over at first. Andrus playing second. Wenzel's at third. Wilkie's at short. Outfielders are Nelson, Buchanan, Shorts from left to right. Kuyat, the right-hander. Stanley takes off. Horning has it fall out of the glove. A 1-1 count. Stanley up to second base, and he's in scoring position for Jurgensen, who has the 1 RBI thus far, bringing in Stanley. Now he's got a chance to bring Stanley in again with tag team partner Haight over at third. Inside to the left-hander, make it 2-1. Kasson, Mantorville, and Lourdes playing for the second time this season. They are in different classes, so they won't see each other in the playoffs. But of course, these are good wins for Lourdes when you're beating a team that's a class above you, as they already beat Kasson, Mantorville earlier in the season, 5-1 over in Kasson. So it always matters when it comes to seeding when you talk about the section playoffs. The QRFs just dropped for the Minnesota scores. And that was earlier today, I believe. And the dirt and a walk. Loading the bases. 2 walks for Kuyat in this frame. And the bases are loaded for Sam Schneider, who, like I said, went deep to left center last time up. Almost hitting it out about 360. More and more of the Lourdes high school kids that come in, sitting over to my right. Although they haven't been that vocal. I just saw them come in. Off speed, not breaking down, and a 1-0. Kuyat has no place to put Schneider. With this hit earlier for Schneider, that gave him 3 on the season, as well as his 5th and 6th RBI. Now he has a chance to add to that in a big, big way. Kuyat trying to fight it off. 1 out. 1-1 the count. Called strike. Outside corner. Schneider, who had the double, his pinch runner York came in to score from Millener. 1-1 count, 1 out. Komets can go any base to get an out. Horning keeping it in front. I do see Coach Frankie up, standing right at the dugout. Right at the fence line. Not sure. I mean, Casimiro hasn't had anybody throwing, so. Then again, I don't know who on their bench would be able to throw. It's probably more like double and triple moves, usually is what ends up happening. Schneider into the backstop on the fly, 2-2. Good day to play a ball game. It's just really nice out. A little windy, but still not too bad. 2-2 count. 1 out, bottom of the second. 4-0 lead for Lourdes. Bases are loaded. Casimirville with Kuyat on the mound. Just missing, and 3-2. A full count, no place to put Schneider. On deck is Sperry, the pitcher for Lourdes. Coaching staff for Casimirville talking things over. Big pitch here for Kuyat. Up and out of play, and stays full count. I think I parked far enough away today. I hope I did anyway. I'm down the first base line and fairly deep, so hopefully car's protected. I believe it was Pine Island that hit the bus for one of the teams and broke a window out of the bus a couple weeks ago. That was like the first week of the season. That was on Twitter. Full count, too high, a walk, and brings in a run. Haight scores on the walk, and here comes Coach Frankie. So I'll put Stanley over at third, Jurgensen at second. I'm guessing York will come back in to run, and he already has. And we'll see if Frankie's going to make a change or just going to talk to Kuyat and company, because the entire infield has come in to the mound to talk things over. I wouldn't think a change would be made this early. As Sperry comes up, 5-0 is the lead. And there won't be.
Courtesy runner at first base for the Eagles.
So going to keep Kuyat on the mound thus far.
Now batting, the pitcher, Joe Sperry.
And Sperry had a hit in the first inning as well. He just didn't drive in a run. Umpire had called time real quick. Home plate umpire. Taking a stretch of his legs and comes back behind Horning. That was on a 1-1 count when Sperry got the hit. First pitch, called strike from Kuyat. As I said, Maxwell over at first, playing there. Andrus second. Wenzel third. Wilkie shortstop. Nelson Buchanan shorts, the outfielder for Kasson Mantorville. 1 run across thus far. And a hard hit ball down the left field line. But it roped foul for Sperry. Put that in play and into a gap, and the Lourdes Eagles would take a commanding lead. Already up 5-0, but it's bases loaded. 3 walks thus far in this bottom of the second for Kuyat, who can be back in the windup. You can do that now with the full bases full. An off-speed pitch hammered out towards center field. Buchanan has to back up and takes it. And everybody will take a bag for Lourdes, which is Stanley coming in. So Sperry out. And now they call an out. Yeah, it's either he stepped off or he was early. I'm not sure. But they call the force out off of York for 8-4. Very unconventional. Actually, 8-4 or 8-6-4.
For the Eagles in the second, 2 runs and 1 hit.
Sperry does get an RBI.
1 left on base.
1 hit, 1 left on base. No errors committed for Kasson Mantorville. And the 2 runs come across. Off that triple of Haight, who started off, he scored, as well as Stanley. They get the force out at second, or not the force out, but the tag out at second base. After the pop fly to center field, Buchanan making that play. And Kasson Mantorville gets out of that bottom of the second with only 2 runs. It could have been a lot worse. And the Kasson Mantorville KoMets, after going 1-2-3, 1-2-3, will have the bottom of the order. Andrus, Schwartz, and Buchanan coming up in the top of the third. 6-0 lead for Lourdes. At Mayo Field here in Rochester, the top of the third inning, and Kasson Mantorville down currently 6-0 to the Lourdes Eagles. And Landon Andrus will step up first, batting a little under 100 for the season at the 7th spot. Does put one to the fencing area on his first pitch from Joe Sperry, who's still on the mound for Lourdes. He's had 2 quick innings, 1-2-3, 1-2-3. Breaking pitch drops in too as Andrus bends at the knees, trying to shorten that strike zone. That's an 0-2 count. Now I just want a hot dog. That's what the games make me think of. I just want a hot dog and a cold glass of pop. I guess I better say that instead. 0-2 count. That's actually all you could get when you used to go to the College World Series, too, down in Omaha. I used to attend that every year. What a fun atmosphere that is. You get to sit. They have a brand new facility. Well, not brand new. It's about a decade old now in Omaha. TD Ameritrade Park. Really nice facility if you've never been there. And swinging, going down strikeouts. Third strikeout of the game for Sperry as Shorts will come up. Shorts, he's batting .500. A few limited at-bats that he has had thus far this season. He's the right fielder, number 1. He'll be a left-hander for Kasson. Good to see college baseball and softball back at it, though, as swinging Schwartz. I know last year there was a lot of disappointment. There's no baseball and softball in high school in Minnesota. There was no college baseball and softball either. If you get a chance, watch some of that college softball. Boy, there's some good players and some great teams. Just like baseball. I haven't got to check out much of the college baseball yet. Seems like they're hard to find until you get to about the regions. This flies up and out of play for Shorts, and it's 1-2. Of course, you got the Twins in action as well. I honestly will say that I don't watch a lot of Major League Baseball. Just have not been the biggest follower of it. 1-2 the count. From Sperry to Shorts, and he's late. Swinging and going down to a strikeout. 4th strikeout for Sperry, and that'll bring up Brooks Buchanan, center fielder, number 4. Junior, hitting .250. And Kasson trying not to go in order for the 3rd consecutive inning. And Sperry, who only had yes, you're correct, Droughty. 6-0 as called strike on the outside corner. Sperry, he's throwing to Schneider. Rudquist over at first, fixes second base. Millener playing third. Jorgensen over at short. Outfielders are Roman, Stanley, and Haight from left to right. Want to make sure I get that in there. This actually hits Buchanan. Hit by a pitch. The first a real problem for accuracy for Sperry. He's hit his marks with those 4 Ks. Kasson only put it in play 4 times in the order. Nelson, 5-3. Wenzel, 6-3. And Maxwell and Wilkie both popped out over the right field to Haight in the last inning. Back to the top of the order with Kyler Couillard, who's the pitcher at number 9. He was a strikeout, the first of the game for Sperry, because it was a leadoff hitter for Kasson back in the top of the first. He swings at the first pitch and a high towering shot over towards left field, but Roman camps underneath of it nicely, puts it in the glove, and that's how the top of the third will end. No runs, no hits, 1 left on base, no errors committed by Lourdes. They've been pretty clean. As Kasson down 6-0 here at Mayo Field. As the Lourdes Eagles leading. My old coworker popping on to say hello today. Austin Droughty, who's the voice of the North Iowa Bulls. Apparently he was looking for Jeopardy and found us instead. Well, I don't have any trivia for you, nor could I ever take the place of Alex Trebek, but happy that you popped on for a few minutes. Thanks for tuning in, Austin. He and I used to work together at the Hampton radio station. We're both sports directors of the 2 stations that work there, or that broadcast there, KLMJ and KQCR. There's a cheap plug for them. They're not paying for it, I guarantee you. Speaking of cheap plugs, thank you to our great advertisers for the last 2 years. They've been fantastic. I know KM Telecom was with us throughout the duration. McKern Financial was too. And some other fine sponsors like Bigelow Homes, Home Federal Savings Bank. Bremer Bank came with us way back when we first started. So we've had some just great advertisers. In fact, I can put them up on the screen real quickly. Hockey Finder was with us over the hockey season. Home Federal Savings Bank as well. So we've just had a great group of sponsors through the duration that I have been here covering the Kasson YouTube channel for the last 2 years, Hopefully things will go swimmingly after I leave. I hope, anyway, is the case. As Kasson didn't look like they made any changes. Kouillat still up on the mound for KM. I know Brock Trinan and company, they're trying to gather and make sure that they'll have people ready to go for next season when football and soccer and volleyball start up. Hopefully it'll be as consistent. It'll be 6, 7, and 8 for Lourdes. Braden Millener up first. He reached on a fielder's choice back in the first inning, but did get an RBI out of that. Swings at the first pitch. High pop fly. This is going to reach the grass. Wilkie underneath and backing up to make the play in center field. Rudquist up. He flew out toward shorts in right field the first time back in the first inning. And then it is Roman afterwards. He is the 8th batter in the order. So right-hander Rudquist went down on a 2-2 count. Kouillat, 1 pitch, 1 out. I think he'd like to duplicate that a couple more times. Breaking pitch stays too high. Was across the plate, but a little above the belt. 1-1. As we said, Kasson on the road a couple more times this week. And I'll be covering the softball team, who's at home. This is a hard shot up and over the head of Wenzel, third base, and a base knock for Rudquist. That is the 6th hit of the game for the Lourdes Eagles and gives Roman a chance to move him around at the 8th spot. He went to Nelson over in left field. A hard hit ball by Rudquist. There wasn't much that Wenzel was going to do about that one. Lourdes has really found a lot of little holes, even on ground balls. Between short and third was one of their hits. Another one went between Maxwell and Andrus over at first and second. So they've just been able to find little areas in this big diamond where Kasson just could not make a play. 0-1 count. Good first pitch for Kouillat on the ground. Wenzel, can he make a long throw? He does. Got him in time for Roman, 5-3. Rudquist will take over to second base, and that'll bring up Seth Haight, who on the first pitch of the last inning hit one to the big gap in left center. And not only that, but he took a triple out of it. He did score as well from Jurgensen's hit. No, Jurgensen walked. I don't think actually anybody brought him around. It was the walk that brought him in. That's right, no RBI on that. So Haight takes a pitch the first time on his second at bat. Wind blowing hard towards center field. Too high on the second from Kouillat. Horning behind the plate. Kouillat did get talked to in the second inning. Seemed to settle down a little bit here in this third. Throwing with much more control. Hitting the strike zone. Haight to the backstop. 1-2. To Seth Haight. He plays right field. He's been active a couple of times this game. Has 2 outs to his credit. Those back in the second inning. And the 2 outs on a 1-2 count. Bottom of the third. Off speed in the dirt. That breaking pitch. Makes it 2-2. 6-0 lead. 4 runs in the first inning for Lourdes. 2 more in the second. Kasson trying to make sure the Lourdes Eagles get an onion in the... Horning. This goes past the PUD to the backstop. Full count. And with that pass ball, Rudquist is over at third. Money pitch coming for Kouillat to get out of the third inning. Kasson softball playing host to Kenyon Wanamingo. Haven't heard anything on that. Maybe Brock Trinan will give me an update on that at some point. He's probably over there checking things out. Too low, had to walk Haight. Fourth walk of the game for Kuyat, and Stanley comes up. Top of the order, rotating back around for Lourdes Eagles. Reached on an error, stole a base, scored in the first. He walked in the second. I did have another stolen base at that time, and then scored once again in the second inning. Runners at the corners in the third. Kuyat checks his signs and the runners. Throws in. Stanley pokes one towards center field. Is going to drop in front of Buchanan, and Haight will come around. Rudquist will come around to score. Haight's over at second base. And just a simple little line drive towards center field. And an RBI for Stanley gives the Lourdes a 7-0 lead with Gannon Fix, who was a hit and came around to score. That was off Jorgensen in the first inning, and was a pop out actually behind the plate to Horning in the second. Sits at 1-0 as Kuyat misses on his first. 2 runners on for Lourdes, leading 7-0. Called strike, belt high, 1-1. Kuyat shaking off a couple of signs, ready to throw the 1-1. Comes in outside, 2-1. As I said, Lourdes Eagles for their next 2 games. They're at Pine Island on the 5th, and they host Stewartville on the 7th. A game on a Wednesday, that doesn't happen very often. I think a couple of teams in the Hiawatha Valley are playing catch-up, though. We'll go through the conference schedule here shortly, or the standings, I mean. We can talk about the schedule, too, because there are 100 games taking place in the state of Minnesota today. 2-2 count, 2 outs. Bottom of the third. 1 runner across already for Lourdes. And reaching out, ground ball over to Maxwell. He will flip it over to Kuyat and get Fix on a 3-1 cover. 1 runner left on base, or 2 runners left on base, pardon me, for Lourdes. They give 1 run on 2 hits. Yep, 2 hits. Rudquist had 1. Stanley had the other. Stanley also had the RBI they brought in. No errors by Kasson Mantorville. We head to the top of the 4th inning, and it is 7-0 as the Lourdes Eagles have a lead here at Mayo Field. We'll take a quick timeout and come right back. Kasson Mantorville KoMets trailing 7-0 at Mayo Field in Rochester here on KM Activities. As the KoMets almost went down in order again in the 3rd inning. Had a strikeout. Buchanan was hit by a pitch at the bottom of the order, and then Kuyat flied out to Roman. It's the 2-3-4 hitters for Kasson Mantorville with Nelson up first, and he connects on one out towards the left center field. This one off the wall on the fly. Nelson going to take 2 and hold up there as the center fielder Stanley throws to Jurgensen. And the first hit of the game comes on a stand-up double for Nelson. Sperry still pitching for the Lourdes Eagles. And Landon Wenzel It was a 6-3 ground out back in the first inning. That was on a 1-1 count. Fix comes over to check. Nelson. No throw over. Instead, just off the bat for Wenzel. 0-1 count. Wenzel coming in batting at .258. Digs his heels in that right-hander's batter's box. 7-0 for Lourdes, top of the fourth. Casimiro really needed to jumpstart their offense. Nelson does provide that right away with that stand-up double on the first pitch in the fourth. Fix still checking him, which allows a huge gap between Fix and Rudquist. Casimiro does have somebody going back there to throw. I believe that's Noah Shorts. He might be heading to throw because Tanner Hall's with him. 1-1 to count as they jog down the left field line in the bullpen. So a little action. We'll see if Kuyat returns or if Coach decides to make a change. Coach Frankie. Shorts is the 8th batter in the order, so this is only the 3rd. Be a little while. He can loosen up his arm. 2-1. Hard hit ball towards left field. Heading back is Roman. He is at the warning track. Makes the catch. Couple of hard hits for Casimiro. One was in a gap for Nelson. Wenzel just missing a dinger. And Corbin Horning, who struck out on a 1-2 count in the second. Steps back up, the catcher. Also a junior. One of the kids that I got to see back in the, let's see, that would have been the first semester, first and second quarter. On the ground, over to third. Millener struggling with it. Late throw. Oh, but Nelson, he is out over at third. Coach Frankie trying to get a little aggressive, and Nelson, I just don't think he had the sudden steps that he needed. So he's thrown out to 3-5. Horning does reach. What are you calling that? As Maxwell comes in, I'm asking the PA announcer what he's got on that. Calling it a hit. Sounds good to me. Dalton Maxwell steps up. He was the one that flew out to Haight over in right field. First of two, because Wilkie, who's on deck, also went out to Haight. And back-to-back flies. Chop it right back to Sperry on a big hop, and he took it for a 1-3. Well, Casimiro put 2 hits, but no runs. They leave 1 runner left on base. And no errors for the Lourdes Eagles. Now we'll see if things have changed as Shorts comes running back from the bullpen. And we'll see if Casimiro makes a pitching change or not. Trying to see who's coming out first. And Shorts is going to run back out towards right field. So no change is going to be made for Mantorville. They trail 7-0. Heading to the bottom of the 4th inning at Mayo Field in Rochester here on KM Activities. Your home for the Komets. Kasson had Shorts in the bullpen earlier, but no changes made. Kyler Kuyat going to stay on the mound for Kasson entering the bottom of the 4th inning. And it'll be the 3, 4, 5 hitters for Lourdes. Left-hander Jurgensen up first. Has a hit, one RBI, has scored. Stranded in the 2nd inning after a walk from Kuyat. First pitch called strike. Jurgensen, then Schneider and Sperry all coming up for Lourdes Eagles. Guaranteed 3 in the bottom of the 4th. Fastball and ripped down the first base line, but foul for Jurgensen. 0-2 count. Mayo Field and Rochester. We're running out of balls, apparently. Umpire doesn't have any yet. No, now he does. He got one at least. Put that back in the pocket. Got a few go up and out of over the grandstand here at Mayo Field. 0-2 count to Jurgensen. And ripped up and over the head of Andrus. Nothing he could do. Into the center field to Buchanan. And a base hit for Jurgensen. Seeing it well. That's his 2nd hit of the game. Plus he has got on base with a walk. So 2 for 2. And brings up Sam Schneider, who is 1 for 1 with a RBI double. His pinch runner York scored in the 1st. And then he was thrown out, Buchanan to Andrus in the 2nd inning. As it looked like he was in, and then I don't know if I think he stepped off. Either that or he went early. Never did get clarification on that call. Schneider, Kuyat too high, throwing to Horning behind the plate. Dalton Maxwell playing first. Landon Andrus 2nd. Landon Wenzel over at 3rd. Kellen Wilkie playing short for Kasson. That's their defense. Outfielders Mitch Nelson, Brooks Buchanan, Noah Schwartz from left to right. Nothing's changed. And too low. 2-0 count to Schneider. Adding to his RBIs, he's up to 6 on the season. And that would tie him with Jurgensen, but then Jurgensen got 1 for his 7th and a team high. 3-4, that's right where you want those RBIs to be drove in. And that's what the Lourdes Eagles have done so far. Schneider, high fly ball over to left field, but neither one of Wenzel or Nelson can make the play. Falls to the grass, but it does provide a strike for Kuyat at a 2-1 count. Lourdes Eagles, 4 runs in that 1st inning with 4 hits. As we talked about at the beginning of the broadcast, they jumped early on Kasson the first time when they played. They scored 3 in the 2nd and 2 more in the 4th. They won that game 5-1 against Oviedo, 4-0 1st inning. Good here, they put 3 runs in the 1st and the 2nd. Oh boy, look out. Right up towards us. And a 2-2. I'll have to protect my equipment. I'd have to get in front of it, I guess. 2-2. I'd ask Brock Trinan for a raise if that does happen, too. Kuyat checking over to first with Jurgensen. Throws in. Schneider ripping one left center. And good play by the left fielder Nelson. He's adjusted a little bit, come closer towards center field, and makes the catch. To get Schneider on the first out of the bottom of the 4th inning. And up to bat now is Joe Sperry. Pitcher-on-pitcher matchup. He had a hit and an RBI in the 1st inning. His pinch runner was a 6-4 fielder's choice back in the 1st. And then Sperry popped out to Buchanan to end the 2nd. First is high from Kuyat. Kasson, they've had quite a few pitchers too, trying to develop some depth and see if they bring somebody out. Again, they've had shorts warm up. My guess would be a double or triple change. Fly ball. Maxwell looks like he's got a little room on the right side. He does take it in front of the dugout of Lourdes for the second out of the fourth. And Jurgensen's still sitting over at first base. Well, I'm sitting, he's standing, and up at the plate is Braden Mulliner. He has an RBI. To his credit, he's the third baseman, number 4. He reached on a fielder's choice in that first inning, and he popped out to Wilkie over at short on the first pitch in the third inning. So his third at bat. First pitch in the dirt from Kuyat. Kasson sitting at 4-4. Lourdes Eagles 5-0. As we said, the last time that Kasson beat Lourdes was back on April 18th of 2017. 7-5 was the score of that game. Eagles have won the last 6. Of course, they didn't meet last year, as they call a balk on Kuyat. And Jurgensen will jog up to second base. I think Coach Frankie asking for clarification. I don't know if he's really going to talk to Kuyat. I think he really wants to talk to the umpire. That's exactly what he's doing. No teams playing last year as baseball and softball. What we know now that we didn't know then. Because really, outside was a lot more safe. Almost could have had spring sports last year. But the uncertainty and the unknown played a huge factor in that. Not knowing what the virus was going to do and what we were able to do. Now, of course, things have a little relaxed with the masks, so you can be outside, and many folks here that are sitting in the stands don't have the mask on because they're still social distancing and outside, which is good to see. Starting to see some normalcy, which is exactly what we were hoping for. I'm going to guess that probably half the crowd is fully vaccinated, too. As I know that the PA announcer and I were talking. We both are. 1-1 count. To Mulliner. That goes behind Horning. Not far enough for Jurgensen to move. He'll stay at second base. 2-1 to count. 2 outs. I think I heard for vaccinations they're going to open up the visor one for 12 to 16-year-olds. So all the way down 12-year-olds can start getting it here soon. Missing, 3-1. These are the things I have to talk to you about during baseball time. You got to fill time in. 3-1. I told you I'm not much of a stats guy. I like to talk other stuff. Lead for Jurgensen. Ground ball over to third. Wenzel stops it, but then can't find it as it ends up being underneath of his glove. Right between the legs. Third error of the game for Kasson and keeps the inning alive. This is much to the dismay of what happened in the third inning because Kasson had 2 outs and with just 1 runner on and still end up giving up a run because of a walk and then another hit. Rudquist up. Runner at second and third. Breaking pitch, not breaking enough, apparently, for the umpire, who's been very consistent here. 1-0 count. Wasn't going to say anything on that, because he has behind the plate. Pitcher should really know the strike zone. He hasn't moved things around much. Good stop by Horning, 2-0. Rudquist, he was a pop out over the right field of shorts in the first inning and had a hit in the third. Came around to score on Stanley's hit. Gave him an RBI. 2-0 count, 2 outs, 7-0 lead for Lourdes. Bottom of the fourth. Up and out of play. No barehanded chance for either one of us here in the press box. 2-1. NFL draft just took place over the last weekend. Got to follow along on some of that. The NBA season winding down. They're about to hit the playoffs here shortly. Major League Baseball stepping into big month. Ground ball right back to Wenzel and through the legs. And another error. This is going to cost Kasson a run. As coming around to score is Jurgensen. Molenaar to second, and Rudquist over to first. Hard hit ball, but got to make that play for Wenzel. Roman up. He's 0 for 2. Flew out to left field to Nelson, and a 5-3 ground out to Wenzel. Little pass ball, Horning just enough to move both runners. Molenaar over to second. Molenaar to third. Rudquist to second. 2 runners in scoring position at an 8-0 lead for Lourdes. And Roman, who's 0 for 2. I'm sure he feels like he's due. Put both of them in play. Goes golfing on that second pitch. And 1-1. High school sports with golf going on, track. I know some teams have tennis and lacrosse. Kasson, I know we're going to start tennis. Well, that's coming up. Horning managing to get a shin guard on that breaking pitch in 2-1. But no lacrosse around here, so just the track and golf and baseball, softball for Kasson Mantorville. Track will have another home meet coming up on Thursday for Coach Pittman's group. 2-2 the count for Kuyat. 2 runners on, and a very important pitch for Kasson Mantorville. 2 runners in scoring position, 2 outs. Bottom of the 4th, and it's 8-0. Chopper right back, and this could be a tough play. And Wilkie just could not glove it to pick it up. That was going to be really tough anyway to make a throw, as Roman was hustling hard. Molenaar scores, and I would agree that's an infield hit for Roman. That's a tough play. You got that grass that's just going to kill the momentum, which it did. Wilkie had to really charge up hard, and that would have had to be a complete clean play. Seth Haight, who walked in the 3rd inning, was stranded at second base. He had the triple in the 2nd on the first pitch. So 2 runners still on for Lourdes. And Haight puts one out towards right field. Schwartz comes in and makes the play to end the inning. 2 more runs come in for Lourdes.
For the Eagles in the 4th, 2 runs on 2 hits.
2 hits and 2 left on base. Kasson, I had 2 errors in that inning, and they trailed 9-0 entering the top of the 5th. We'll come right back at Mayo Field here on KM Activities. Your home for the Komets. They are down to the Lourdes Eagles 9-0. Kasson Comets down 9-0. They do have one hit in the game.
Leading off the top of the fifth for the Comets.
Entering the top of the fifth inning for Kasson. And they'll have Wilkie, Andrus, and Schwartz up. The first hit of the game came in the last inning with Nelson. Swinging and missing on the first is Wilkie. He popped out to Haight in the second inning. That ended that inning as Kasson went 3 up, 3 down in the first two, with Sperry still throwing for Lourdes. Right the heart of the plate on that one, 0-2 to Wilkie. Wilkie, I know, has had a pretty good year at the plate, batting .333. Swinging, going down on the strikeout, though, to Sperry, who's really pitched a really good quality game and a nice outing for Lourdes. That was his 5th strikeout. He has not had a walk. He's had one hit by, he hit one batter. That was Brooks Buchanan back in the 3rd inning. And he was close to a 1-2-3 inning in that particular inning with 2 strikeouts before Buchanan was hit by a pitch. Gavin Giesler stepping up. He's batting for Andrus. We'll see if Giesler then plays second base or if he's just a pinch hitter. Swinging at the first and missing. 9-0 lead, 5th inning. Pop up. And does Schneider have room? He does. And takes it behind home plate. And Noah Schwartz. Schwartz is the right fielder. Had an active day out and right. Has a couple of putouts for his name. And he was a strikeout in the 3rd on a 1-2 count. So Noah Schwartz. Also, thought he might be the new pitcher. Never came in. Too high from Sperry. Lourdes trying to get to 6-0 on the season. Kasson, the loss would dip below 500. See if they can recover from that in the next couple of games on the road. As currently at the Hiawatha Valley, Lourdes leading the conference. They sit at 4-0. Byron 4-1. Schwartz taking on a called strike at 2-0 count, make it 2-1. So it's Lourdes, Byron, Pine Island, Stewartville, Zerota Mazeppa, your top 5. Bottom half, Kasson at 4-3 coming in here today. Kenny Wanamingo 3-4. Lake City 3-4. Goodhue, Cannon Falls, Triton rounded out. Like I said, I think some of these teams, I know Pine Island, they've played 7 games, but I know Cannon Falls was in COVID protocol. Their softball team was too, as the first walk of the game by Sperry puts Schwartz at first. Cannon Falls, that's why they're playing 2 today. I believe that's against Pine Island, yeah, at Pine Island. Bethlehem Academy is at Kenny Wanamingo today. Cannon Falls at Pine Island, they're playing that doubleheader. Dover Yoda at Stewartville. Lake City at Goodhue. Zerota Mazeppa hosting Triton. Those are some of the games that are happening in the Hiawatha Valley. I could not find very many games, actually any games, for teams in the Class 3A Section 1. That's where Kasson is. Obviously, they're playing today because we're covering this game. Buchanan on the 0-1 count coming up, second pitch. But Byron, Winona, Red Wing, Albert Lee, Faribault, Jordan, and Austin, none of them in action today. A little surprised by. 1-1. Although a Monday, sometimes there's not as many games happening. And Section 1 of Class 2A has a ton of teams, including this Lourdes Eagles squad. Buchanan a little bit late, putting it 1-2, 2 outs. In the 5th, top of the 5th, Schwartz has a walk. Wilkie struck out. Giesler was a pop out to the catcher Schneider. In the second pitch of that at bat. Right back into the area where Rudquist and Fix could not be. A hit for Buchanan over on the right side. Between first and second. Second hit of the game for Kasson Mantorville. Or pardon me, that's the third hit. Horning, it might have been an error. Mentioned up here. I have it for the third hit. And Tanner Hall going to sub in for Kuyat. Pinch hitter. He's a left-hander. Be the second lefty that Sperry has dealt with Noah Schwartz also being a lefty. He's over at second base. Buchanan at first. So Tanner Hall stepping in. He's a senior. Does play some second base. Not a backup pitcher according to the program. Late on his swing, 0-1. Two outs in the top of the fifth inning, 9-0 lead for Lourdes. Kasson trying to get something on the board. Too high, 1-1. To Tanner Hall. Senior, good senior group for Kasson Mantorville. They got plenty of them. Wenzel, Nelson, Kuyat, Hall, Maxwell. I know Maxwell's going to go off and play college baseball. Can't remember where he signed, though. I know that. Should have known that, but I can't remember. Earlier in the year, he made his letter of intent and signed that. 1-2. Swinging and going down on a strikeout is Hall. 6th strikeout for Sperry. On 1 hit, 2 left on base. No runs, no errors for Lourdes. Been a very clean game for them. Only the 1 error thus far for the Lourdes Eagles. We head to the bottom of the 5th inning. And the change has been made. As Kuyat out. And over to right field. As Noah Schwartz is going to pitch. Giesler is out in right. And we'll talk a little bit more about Kuyat's final numbers here in just a moment. Give me a few minutes. The Lourdes Eagles 1 run away from winning the ball game in the bottom of the 5th as they lead 9-0 over the Kasson Mantorville Komets. And stepping up will be the top of the order with Sam Stanley. Noah Schwartz is going to pitch. He'll move from right to pitcher, and Gavin Giesler does come out to right field. Tanner Hall was just that pinch hitter for Kuyat. In that top of the 5th. Kuyat for the day, I had 9 hits, 8 earned runs out of those 9, no strikeouts and 4 walks.
Yeah. Thank you.
So Stanley up first, then it'll be Fix and Jurgensen. Shorts, left-hander. Will give Lourdes a little bit different look after seeing Kuyat for 4 innings. Missing on his first. Outside to the right-hander, Stanley. Let's see if I can get the numbers on Schwartz. Schwartz has thrown 4 innings thus far in the season, through 90 pitches. He is 1-0 on the year in relief. Allowed 3 hits, 5 runs. A hard hit ball out towards right. Giesler there to make the play. And Stanley will go down after a couple of pitches from Schwartz. Let's see, ERA of 7 even. Coming in 5 strikeouts and 6 walks for Schwartz.
Pinch hitting for the Eagles, number 3, Carter Wenzel.
And Carter Wenzel will sub in to hit. He'll hit for Fix. Fix on the day, 1 of 3, was got a hit in the first inning and scored. Then went to Horning in the second and a 3-1 ground out in the third. Wenzel will take his base by a hit by a pitch. Nolan Jurgensen back up, has an RBI, does have 2 hits, and reached on a walk. He scored twice in the first and the fourth. He's had a good day. 2 for 2, plus 2 runs, and 1 driven in. Schwartz outside and low. Lefty on lefty matchup. And Schwartz comes in relief for Kyler Kuyat, who's on the hook for the loss. Too far inside. Going. I'm not sure. Did that hit? Might actually hit Wenzel as he's coming in. He'll get into second base regardless. 2-0 count. He would be the winning run. Wenzel is. If Jurgensen can drive him in. On deck, actually, is going to be another sub as Brendan DeVick is going to hit for Schneider. Jurgensen watches that one come by and a called strike from Schwartz. Horning still behind the plate. Maxwell, Andrus, and Wenzel protecting first, second, and third. Shortstop's Wilkie. So no changes there. Hard chopper, first base line. Well, they called that fair. Maxwell does stop it on the first base line. Nobody covering, and Jurgensen will get another hit. So 3 for 3 on the day with an RBI and scoring twice. Up is DeVick then. So Brendan DeVick, he's a junior infielder. Davick. With Wenzel over at third. He would be the winning run. 10-run rule in 5. Schwartz hitting his spot. Outside corner from the lefty. Outfielders then Mitch Nelson, is over in left. Brooks Buchanan in center, and Gavin Giesler changes with Schwartz coming into pitch. Second one on the way, but too high. 1-1 to count. Kasson hitting the road for a couple of games later in the week. On the 6th and the 7th, they'll be at Pine Island, then Cannon Falls. We'll have them back on KM Activities on the 13th when they host Byron. Lourdes will go to Pine Island on the 5th and travel to Stewartville. Well, I'm all confused. At Pine Island on the 5th, they host Stewartville on the 7th. I've said it a couple times. You'd think I wouldn't confuse myself at this point. 2-1 to count, 1 out in the bottom of the 5th inning. Double play ball for Kasson would be ideal. Ooh, gloved up over on the coaching staff side for Kasson barehanded. 2-2 the count. To Davik. Shorts checks everybody over. Breaking pitch drops in the dirt before it gets to the plate, and full count. Again, we'll have softball for you on Thursday, as that's against Cannon Falls. I believe that's a 4:30 start. We'll have that one right here on KM Activities. We got girls golf tomorrow and a Hiawatha match at Lake City. That's at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Boys golf, they have a multi-meet at the Jewel. That's at 2 p.m. Softball is at Stewartville Tuesday at 5 p.m. So the girls softball, they've got an active schedule, 3 games this week. Trying to get everything in. Stays 3-2 to Davik. Who could bring in the winning run, who's 90 feet away. And that's Wenzel, who pinch hitted for Fix. And late swing and a strikeout. Schwartz with his first strikeout. And with 2 outs, Joe Sperry. Sperry, the pitcher, who would be on the winning side of things for Lourdes, can actually end the game too. He is 1 for 3, does have an RBI. His hit came back in the 1st inning. Since then, he found Buchanan's glove, and he might have done it again. He did. Center field twice, and he also had a pop out to Dalton Maxwell in the 4th. So 9-0 stays, and Kasson stays alive. No runs on 1 hit, 2 left on. No errors by Kasson, and we'll head to the top of the 6th inning. Kasson has Nelson, Wenzel, and Horning up when we come back in the top of the 6th. Lourdes Eagles make a change as heading into the top of the 6th inning. Joe Sperry done for the day pitching. 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, no runs, 6 Ks, 1 walk. And Jack Jacob. And for the Kasson Komets have made a change. Can I see that real quick?
What's that?
The lineup for Kasson. And not having him on there. Chase splits. Oh, that's Splitstozer. Yeah. Chase. Splitstozer was not on my official lineup.
Okay, well, there he is.
Yeah, and here he is. So wasn't on mine, but he is on the official card. Splitstozer up at the plate. He's hitting for Mitch Nelson, right back to Jacob. 1-3 throw out. So Jack Jacob in relief. As Mantorville in the top of the 6th inning, down 9-0. And stepping back in is Landon Wenzel. Wenzel, he's 0 for 2. Mitch Nelson did have a hit. I want to make sure I mention that. He went 1 for 2 on the day. Had a hit back in the 4th inning. A called strike for Jacob. 0-1 count. Lourdes Eagles trying to remain perfect on the season, sitting at 5-0. They're 4-0 in the conference. They beat Dover Yoda as well, so that didn't count in conference. That is a section team, though. We can run through all those section teams in Class 2A, Section 1. 2 high, 1-1. 2 low, 2-1. Well, Section 1 of Class 2A consists of Caledonia, Lourdes, PEM, Pine Island, Chatfield, Lewiston, Altura, ZM, that's Sombrero Mazeppa, Stewartville, La Crescent, GM, LOK, Dover Yoda, Lake City, Cotter, St. Charles, Goodhue, and Triton. A lot of teams in the Hiawatha Valley. And then a couple teams out of that Tri-Rivers, of course, too. 3-1 to count. 2 Wenzel. Swings a high one. The shortstop, Jurgensen, he has not, nobody can see it. And it just falls right by Jurgensen. Well, nobody really called it because nobody could see it. And it's a hit for Wenzel. I mean, Horning also has a hit, and he is 1 for 2 on the day. Struck out in the 2nd, had a hit in the 4th, and left at first base. So Horning up. This is the cleanup batter in the Kasson lineup. Drops in front of the plate, and a good stop by Schneider, making sure that Wenzel doesn't move from first base. Kasson extended the ball game even after Lourdes had a couple of guys on in the bottom of the 5th. And once again, same situation for Jacob, into the dirt. Could not find a softball score. I was hoping to find that for you. For Kasson, they're playing Kenny Wanamingo today. They were up 6-0 after 3. We're the Comet softball team up on Canyon Wanamingo. So third straight ball, 3-0 count. So that's good. Kasson was leading in their softball game over Kenny Wanamingo. Is going to see the girls coming up on Thursday. They take on Cannon Falls. Have to be reaching back out to Coach Mann. 3-1, called strike for Jacob. Throwing into Schneider. Didn't see any other changes out in the defense for Lourdes. It's just a pitching change. Horning, big cut. Just doesn't come away with anything, and Jacob battles back for a full count after falling 3-0. Wenzel over at first base after his infield hit that nobody could find. Horning will take a walk. Wenzel will trot up to second base. Runner for Horning or no? Doesn't look like it. Nope. So Dalton Maxwell steps up. He flew out to Haight in right field on the 2nd, and a 1-3 ground out in the fourth. Right back to Sperry at the time. It was a hard hit ball, but Sperry got a big glove on it. Called strike at the knees to Maxwell from Jacob. Outfielders are Roman, Stanley, and Haight. Infielders Rudquist over at first, Fix at second. Mulliner third base, and Jurgensen playing short. Maxwell going to find, a little bobble there. A late throw, safe for Maxwell on the fielder's choice. They do get Horning on a 6-4. Not quite grabbed clean by Jurgensen. If he had, it would have been a double play. Wenzel moves to third, and that brings up Wilkie. Kellen Wilkie flew out to Haight in the second inning. He struck out the last inning in the fifth. That's how the inning started for Kasson Mantorville in the fifth. Now 2 outs, top of the sixth inning, and a 9-0 lead for Lourdes. 2 runners on for Kasson Mantorville, and a pass ball. Coming in and charging is Wenzel to make it 9-1. Maxwell will go over to second base, and Kasson Mantorville will get off the onion at 9-1. Wilkie 0 for 2. Maxwell in scoring position. Sperry, who had pitched a very quality game for Lourdes as the starter. Now in for relief is Jacob. Struggled with his control a little bit here in this top of the sixth. 2-0 count to Wilkie. Wilkie. Schneider got room. He does. Wow, what a basket catch by Schneider. Thought he might have run out of room, and instead made the catch. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 left on base, no errors. For Kasson Mantorville to get on the board. And we'll head to the bottom of the sixth inning with Lourdes leading 9-1. And I guess that Schwartz will still be pitching when we come back here on KM Activities. Kasson Mantorville KoMets down 9-1. Bottom of the sixth inning here at Mayo Field to the Lourdes Eagles in this Hiawatha Valley matchup. And Mulliner up first. Braden reached on the fielder's choice back in the first with the RBI. Reached on an error in the fourth and scored. In between there, he popped out to Wilkie at short. Schwartz is still pitching for Kasson Mantorville. I believe Sean Inman is catching. I don't think that's Corbin behind the plate. Maybe it is. I thought they'd made the change. Looked like it to me anyway. As the Lourdes Eagles have a lead of 9-1, 1-0 count. Schwartz comes in and drops it short. 2-0. 2-0 count to Millener. Rudquist on deck. Ground ball, third baseline, and foul. Wenzel will come over and pick that up. Throw it back to Schwartz. 2-1. Rudquist and then Roman. This is the 6, 7, 8 hitters for the Lourdes Eagles. All leading at Mayo Field. Be the last time these two teams meet up, likely, in the season. Of course, there's been changes in numerous of them throughout the season. Kasson, Mantorville, and Lourdes already playing once thus far, but you never know. And Cannon Falls just getting back into action. Ground ball over to Wilkie. Stopped, a long throw, bouncing in. And taking second base is Millener. And Brock believes that it was 10-0 softball, ended up winning. They had to leave. But he was figuring the Komets ended up ending early and getting a W there. So Millener goes to second. On the throw from Wilkie. Gotta catch it clean. They would have had the out. Bounces right back off of Rudquist. So for him, let's see, Alex, he's the first baseman. Flew out to Schwartz, who was playing right field in the first inning. He had a hit and scored in the third. He reached on an error in the fourth and then was stranded at third base. So his fourth time up. Reaches out and hits one hard, but Buchanan making a great play. Out in center field. Got a fantastic jump. Millener will take third on the sacrifice. That brings up Roman. Julio Roman popped out to Nelson out in left field. In the first inning, that was the end of the first. A 5-3 ground out in the third and had a hit in the fourth with an RBI. 90 feet away is Millener. Good jump by Buchanan, covering a lot of ground. He's known to do that in football, too, as a linebacker and a wing back for Kasson Mantorville. Wishing the boys good luck next fall for football. I'll be following and watching from afar. Off speed for Schwartz. It's nowhere near the plate. 1-0. Kasson Mantorville to Lourdes. Hiawatha Valley action and a gorgeous night. Wind getting a little chilly now, though. Ooh, jammed him. Out towards center field once again for Buchanan. Millener will tag and score. A second RBI for Roman. Puts it at 10-1. Bottom of the sixth inning. And Kasson Mantorville will be down their last 3 outs coming up in the top of the seventh. Well, Seth Haight, if he can hit a home run or extend the inning. He does have a triple earlier. Haight steps out of the batter's box. His triple came in the second inning. He did score in that inning off the hit for Jurgensen. Pardon me. The hit was, it was a walk. That's right. That was the walk when the bases were loaded. That's how Haight scored. He walked in the third inning and was stuck at second base, and then he flew out to Gavin Giesler. That was Schwartz still playing. Yeah, because Kuyat pitched 4 innings, so Schwartz was still out there. So in right field, that's where Haight went in the 4th. Schwartz was still there because Kuyat was the first pitcher for Kasson Mantorville. Following along on my own book here. My penmanship isn't the greatest either. 3-0 count, my wife can attest to that. 3-0 count to Haight, the 9th batter in the order for the Lourdes Eagles. And they call Mayo Field their home. Several teams actually in Rochester, as 4 straight pitches on Schwartz, who has a strikeout to his name. That's his first walk. Century and Mayo all play here along with Lourdes. John Marshall's the only one that does not play their home games at this facility. Then you got the Honkers once their season gets rolling. And ripped out towards left. Gonna bobble. Well, they held. I was wondering if they were going to send Haight, but he stays at second base, and Stanley has his second hit of the game. He has an RBI to his name as well. He reached on an error in the 1st, stole a base, scored. He scored twice. Second time was in the 2nd inning after a walk. Had a hit in the 3rd, but he stayed at first. Pardon me. And then he's the one that popped out to Giesler in the 5th inning. So back up is Gannon Fix. Now he has a chance to end the game with a base knock and driving in Haight. Because Milliner scored earlier in the inning, making it 10-1. Too high. Fix on the day has a hit to his credit. That was in the 1st inning. He walked in the... Oh, no, he did not walk. He was a pop out to the catcher Horning and a 3-1 ground out in 3rd. He was pinch hit for Wenzel came in to hit for him in the 5th inning, and he was hit by a pitch. 2-1 to count. So he's 1 for 3 in the day with a hit and a run scored. And kind of off the knuckle of the bat. Uh-oh, if nobody's covering, they get over there in time. And they call him out on the corner. Waiting for the call. 4-1 on the ground out. 1 run on 1 hit. 2 left on base. Kasson Mantorville 1 error, putting them up to 5 in the game. And for Kasson Mantorville, they're down to their last 3 outs. It's the bottom of the order. Scheduled to come up would be Andrus, Schwartz, and Buchanan. We'll see if Coach Frankie decides to make a couple of changes as the money inning starts up in just a second. 10-1 the lead for the Lourdes Eagles here on KM Activities. Top of the 7th inning. Final 3 outs for Kasson Mantorville. They need a huge rally in the top of the 7th on this Lourdes Eagles team. 10-1, Lourdes leading. Jumped early, 4-0 in the 1st inning. Got 2 more in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th, and 1 more in the 6th. And Gavin Giesler up at the plate. he subbed in for Andrus for the second time. Andrus struck out in the third inning. And Gavin Giesler popped up to Schneider, who had some room to make a play behind home plate. 1-1 the count to Giesler. Shorts and then Buchanan scheduled to come up. Shorts had moved. Jacob is still pitching in relief for Lourdes. He's in relief for Joe Sperry, who will likely have the win unless an incredible run happens for Kasson Mantorville here in the top of the seventh. Giesler swinging and missing. 2-2 the count. 7, 8, 9 scheduled for Kasson Mantorville. A little off the bat and behind the plate. Giesler keeps it alive. Shorts would be up next, followed by Buchanan. In the top of the seventh inning. Like I said, the next time we'll have baseball on will be against Byron, who's playing some fantastic baseball thus far. They're sitting at 6-1. 4-run overall. Giesler puts one on the ground. Coming into over third is Mulliner, and he can't make the throw. Turning the corner, Giesler going to try and take two, and he will. I thought Jurgensen was the one trying to make that play at short. Mulliner, though, just kept kind of creeping over to that side. And the throw, an error. So Giesler reaches on the E5, and Schwartz up now. Noah Schwartz started in right field, now pitching. In relief, up at the plate thus far, he's 0 for 1. Struck out in the third inning. He walked in the fifth and was left at second base. Giesler's got a big lead. Jacob has missed his first target, 1-0. Got the second, though, and evens the count at 1-1. Kasson Mantorville hitting the road for the rest of the week for baseball. Softball sounds like they got the win today. We'll have them on Thursday when they host Cannon Falls. Swinging and missing is Schwartz. 1-2. Lourdes Eagles go to Pine Island on the 5th, host Stewartville on the 7th. 1-2. In tight, 2-2 the count. We'll see if somebody joins me next time we have baseball, since it'll be a home game. Didn't get a chance to have anybody with us today, as some of the Kasson Mantorville Comet boys come in. And a called strike 3. First strikeout for Jacob. Some of the Comet boys. JV was playing today, I know. Quite a few levels. And now Brooks Buchanan, 9th batter in the order. He was hit by a pitch back in the third inning. Did get a hit in the 5th. Was left at first base. 1 out. Top of the 7th inning. 10-1 lead for Lourdes. Inning started with Giesler reaching on an error. And he's over at second base after the throw. And called strike for Jack Jacob. Sperry, who pitched 5 innings, gave up 3 hits, no runs, 6 strikeouts, just the 1 walk. A really solid outing. Kuyat will take the loss for Kasson Mantorville, like I said, unless they can make a big run. Kuyat, he also pitched 4 innings. Schwartz did 2 innings of work. 9 hits, 8 earned, 9 runs, no Ks, 4 walks. Jammed him off top of the bat over to second base. A little bobble by Fix, but he ends up getting him for 3. Giesler over to third and top of the order. And it'll be back up for Tanner Hall, hitting for Kuyat. After all those substitutions. Tanner Hall struck out in the 5th inning. Kuyat on the day was 0 for 2. He struck out in the 1st and popped out to Roman over in left field. So the Komets 90 feet away from getting a second run. They are down to their final out as well. Hall holds off the left-hander. It's a lefty-on-lefty matchup. Jacob thrown on that left side. 1-0. Nelson on deck. Might be splits Tozer. And it will be. 1-1. Even the count back up. Jacob's done a good job not falling too far behind. Anytime it's been 1-0, he seemed to find the strike zone right away. All behind and 1-2. 1-2, 2 outs. Lourdes Eagles trying to end the game and get to 6-0. Kasson 4-4 entering today. Too low, 2-2. I want to thank Coach Jensen, too. He emailed me earlier today. Gave me some quick notes on the Eagles. I didn't ask for much, but enough to fill the broadcast and just be able to talk about the Eagles. And they get a strikeout. Second strikeout for Jacob, and that is how the game will end. As Komets, no runs, no hits, one left on base, and no errors by the Lourdes Eagles. So they get 10 runs on 11 hits. Let's see, for Lourdes they left 10 on base, 10 left on base, and they committed, I believe it was 2 errors, 2 errors. And for Kasson Mantorville, I had them for 4 hits, 1 run. They left 6 on base and 5 errors in the game. So Kasson Mantorville falls to 4-5. Kuyat, as I said, was the losing pitcher, and Sperry gets the win for Lourdes. He's now 2-0 on the season. And that's Kuyat's, I believe, first loss. And Kasson Mantorville 4-5, and they'll have 2 games back-to-back coming up later in the week. They go at Pine Island on the 6th, and they're at Cannon Falls on the 7th. Prom's coming up this weekend, too, for Kasson Mantorville, so it'll be a big Saturday for all the kids. But Kasson Mantorville falling here to the Lourdes Eagles 10-1 at Mayo Field. Thank you so much for tuning in here on KM Activities. I'm Joel McCall. We'll be back with you on Thursday for softball when it is, I believe, Cannon Falls coming to Kasson to play the Kasson Mantorville Komets. Thanks for tuning in. Good night.